Today we have a crazy story of how a Redditor accidentally gave themselves acid reflux for 25 years. We'll get into that in a bit, but first, today I messed up by accidentally finding out my second baby's gender. My wife is 12 weeks pregnant and just had her lab work and original ultrasound done. I'm the one that usually sends messages to the OBGYN on my chart under her account because my wife doesn't like communicating through the app. We planned on sharing the results with a baker and having the inside of the cake either be pink or blue. To make it easier, we asked if they could send a separate message containing the results. They obliged and sent the message. However, my chart has this special feature where the first two words of the message will preview before opening the message. So what I see is gender results - do not open followed by you are having a boy and it's cut off. I have since deleted the message from my chart and will be holding the secret for who knows how long. That is a big mistake, and you would think that they would have like some kind of contingency or plan for that because gender reveal anythings aren't exactly like a new idea at this point. I guess at this point all OP can do is sign up for some acting classes or practice their reaction way ahead of time. But hey, at least there's no possibility of ending up like those parent fail videos out there where one of the genders is revealed and the parent has like a disgusted look on their face or they like kick a table over or something. I remember one former NBA player, his name is Gordon Hayward, had a video go out of a gender reveal of their own, and it was revealed in the video that they were having a girl, and Gordon looked visibly disappointed. One of his other kids said, "Daddy, are you happy?" And he replied, "Yeah, Daddy's always happy," while kicking a balloon. Love Me Like That commented, "Might be worth letting the office know, to be honest. That way they know to add a little more filler in for the preview. So sorry you found out in such a sideways way, but also congrats." And also, hi, I'm Steven, and if you guys enjoy crazy stories of Redditors who severely messed up, why not hit those like and subscribe buttons down below? That said, our next story is, today I messed up by leaving my vibrating toy in my bathrobe. This freak up happened 2 days ago, and today I'm seeing the results. A couple days ago, late at night, I used my favorite toy for some fun times. When that was done, I was hygienic with it, as anyone should, and left it to dry in my bathrobe's pocket. I stupidly forgot it there. Today, while eating lunch with my mom, we hear a weird sound coming from the washing machine. We dwell on what the freak is making that sound in there, but we leave it alone. But then she tells me that she's washing my bathrobe and a few other towels, so there's nothing like a belt that would justify this, and maybe the washing machine is broken again. And it hits me that the sound is coming from my precious, precious toy getting washed to death. I mean, it is waterproof, but apparently not enough to survive this fate. It is now non-stop pulsing on maximum speed. My mother refuses to acknowledge it or look at me, and I now need to spend another 50 euros I don't have to get a new one. I'm hearing the freaking thing while typing this. Never thought that that sound would one day make me upset. Bonus, my cat is freaking out because of the vibrations. I can't make it stop, it's just not turning off. I'm thinking of smashing it with a hammer. I mean, I know for the most part Reddit is anonymous, but people really have no shame just putting anything out there on the internet, do they? I mean, today I messed up is not a relatively small sub, you're putting it out there for hundreds of thousands of people to see. I guess realistically, considering how crazy the situation is, you can't help but laugh at it. Jack the Skipper commented, "Well, I guess one last round then, since it's basically begging for it." Cosmic Spider 31 commented, "I'm so sorry, but that is too funny. Thought it was bad when my mom packed my bedside table full of hooking up toys without asking me." Edit, y'all, I'm dying. Did not see that second possible meaning at all. Our next story is, today I messed up by telling my gym crush, "I love you." This happened yesterday, and I might need to transfer gyms. I've been seeing this girl at my gym for months. We've talked a few times. She's funny, down to earth, and way out of my league. Yesterday, I was on the treadmill when she walked past and waved. I tried to wave back, but forgot I was still moving at a sprint. I almost face planted, caught myself, and everyone laughed. She came over and said, "You good?" And I, in a rush of adrenaline and embarrassment, blurted out, "Yeah, I love you." Not joking. Not "I like you," not "I'm fine." My dumb brain went straight to full emotional commitment. She blinked, said, "Wow, that escalated fast," and walked off laughing. I had to stay another 30 minutes just to make it seem like I wasn't fleeing the scene. I'm considering moving cities at this point. You know, in situations like this, I usually can see how you would maybe have like crossed wires. I fail to see how exactly you go from one of the default, it's okay, I'm okay, it's fine kind of answers, all the way to, yeah, I love you. Also, am I just being a dumb guy, or was her reaction actually not that bad? I'm for peace commented, dude, it's not a big deal. Just show up tomorrow like nothing happened, wearing a tuxedo, with a bouquet of a dozen red roses, and when you see her, get down on one knee and propose. Our next story is, today I messed up by confidently clicking my heels like Dorothy during a monitored online university exam. So I'm mid-exam, already sweating bullets, trying to look professional for my invigilator, webcam on, full body view, the whole deal. My invigilator, that is watching me for the next 3 hours, has this absolutely beautiful thick accent, and I'm hanging on every word because I do not want to mess anything up and get flagged. She asks me to show her my phone is, so I do. I'm standing there, laser focused, waiting for her next instruction. Then I swear to God, she says, please click your heels as fast as you can back and forth. My brain short circuits. I pause, blink, and just to be sure, I ask her to repeat that. She says it again, clear as day to my stressed out ears. Click your heels as fast as you can. So I think, well, weird request, but okay, she's the authority here. I plant my feet, straight face, full body view, and I proceed to click my heels together twice, with confidence. There's a long pause, and then she says slowly, sweetly, no, please click on screen. I have never felt my soul leave my body faster. So somewhere in the Invigilator servers is a high definition recording of me, dead serious, obediently heel clicking like Dorothy trying to teleport out of her degree. Can anybody in the comments try to figure out what the heck she possibly could have said that would make OP think she said click your heels as fast as you can back and forth? My only guess would be like they had some kind of anti-cheating software on the computer that they're trying to like do some check for, but then she followed up with just click on the screen. I love, by the way, that OP had to clarify that it's a very thick, beautiful accent, so OP's there clicking their heels like, yes ma'am, I'll do it. Appreciate this name commented, what did she say which made you think she said, click your heels? If you got that from click on screen, what the heck kind of accent does she have? OP responded commenting, Indian accent. I still am trying to dissect what she possibly even said. I can only imagine what she was thinking, probably have no idea what I thought she said. What the heck is this chick doing dancing like an idiot mid-exam? I have been pretty sleep deprived, so I'm chalking it up to my mind just making up absolute nonsense. Our next story is, today I messed up by giving my dog boarding job an Uggs blanket I found at Goodwill. So, not really in my opinion, but a few coworkers pointed this out to me today. I like to buy the dogs at my job different blankets and comfy items out of my own pocket because I like going to Goodwill. Plus, it's very rewarding to me to see the dog so happy to sleep on a soft, newish blanket that hasn't been torn up yet. Anyways, I go to Goodwill and notice a large pink blanket with soft white fabric on the inside of it. Usually it would have been $12, but since it was a tag from last week, it was priced at $2. So I said freak it, might as well buy it for the dogs and bring it into my shift that day. The dogs loved it, and I was very happy to see one of the dogs with a lot of anxiety in new places sleeping comfortably on the blanket. Win for me, I guess. Fast forward to my next shift 3 days later, I was talking to my coworkers and they brought up that someone had brought in an Uggs blanket for the dogs to use when it could have been used as a normal blanket for their house. I spoke up and said that it was me that brought it in, and since I don't follow brands I didn't know, but after getting curious on my shift, the same blanket is going for $108 on Amazon right now. At the end of the day, I really don't care about the blanket, but my coworkers think I freaked up. So ultimately, I think OP did a beautiful thing here, and they didn't know. My only fear at this point would be wanting to guard the blanket to make sure that somebody else doesn't try to steal it for a quick buck. You know, snatch it up, run it through the washing machine, use a lint roller or two on it. I could probably still get $30-40 for this thing. Mild Wave commented, your coworkers are tripping. You scored a luxury blanket for $2 and gave anxious pups the nap of a lifetime. That's not a freak up, that's a legendary win. The dogs are living their best lives, and that's all that matters. Our next story is, today I messed up by skipping my flu shot appointment. Obligatory not today, last fall, I made an appointment at CVS for my flu shot, but I was lazy and kept pushing it back up until I eventually just canceled it and figured I would be fine. Flew out to visit my mother for Christmas, spent Christmas Eve with the whole family, ages 1.5 to 85 years, woke up Christmas morning feeling like I was dying. You know what I mean, my whole body hurt, my head was stuffy, all I wanted to do was sleep, so I took some NyQuil. My next clear memory is January 28th. I had the flu, which became necrotizing pneumonia, and I became septic. I was put on a ventilator and in a medically induced coma for a month. I almost passed on from the dang flu. I have brief flashes of what happened in the days between Christmas and 12/29, when my mother called the ambulance. I have clearer memories of the nightmares I had while comatose, then back to brief flashes as I regained consciousness. Long story short, get your freaking flu shot. I was healthy, relatively young, early 40s, and if I hadn't happened to be visiting my mom, I would be gone. I would have passed alone in my house because I didn't feel like walking the 4 blocks to CVS. I'm fully caught up now. ETA, no one at the family Christmas party got sick, neither did my mom, thank God. ETA 2, somehow 2 of my vague memories, one pre-coma, one post, both include making a mess of the bed. So if the threat of thousands of dollars in medical bills doesn't encourage you to get a flu shot, maybe that will. You know, what OP did there kind of sounds like something that I would do. I would try to be proactive and be like, okay, I'll try to take care of my health and whatnot, but I wouldn't be procrastinating in the way that I keep pushing the scheduled date back. No, that would take too much effort for me. It would just be one of those things where it's the day of and it's like 5 minutes before and I'm like, okay, you know what? I literally have no other option and I've done nothing. I guess I should go. MB33 commented, my doctor said, if you feel like you're passing on, you may have a cold. If you feel like you hope you just pass on soon, you probably have the flu. Our next story is, today I messed up by mixing random supplements for months and destroying my gut. Got into the whole health optimization thing after New Year's, following biohacking influencers and fitness people posting their supplement routines. Started simple with vitamin D because I work remotely, then magnesium, ashwagandha for stress, zinc, pre-workout, and some herbal focus thing from Amazon. Ended up taking like 8 different things twice a day. By August, my stomach was completely screwed. I started getting heartburn at first, and then it continued to bloating, cramps, exhaustion. Even though I was doing everything right, thought maybe it was food intolerance or something. Finally saw my doctor last week, and she checked everything and told me I'd been poisoning myself. Had to stop everything. My gut is wrecked now, and I need probiotics to fix it. Wasted $400 over 6 months thinking I was being healthy. Don't mix random supplements without talking to a doctor first. Learn from my idiot mistake. Yeah, generally I think it's pretty sound advice to listen to kind of what your primary doctor thinks you should supplement. I mean, it's kind of the point why if you do go see your doctor regularly, there's kind of that yearly blood work checkup. I myself definitely am not anti-multivitamin or taking vitamins in general, but I definitely am pro at least discussing that with your doctor too. Kind of reminds me of a story recently I heard from a friend where my friend had a coworker who, for whatever reason, was, I don't know if it was listening to some podcast or resource or whatever, that basically said something about how you can't overdose on vitamin D or something like that. And basically, they had the bright idea to essentially take in one go what equates to about 50,000 milligrams of vitamin D all at once. Basically, from what I heard, they almost immediately went straight to the emergency room and basically blew up their kidneys. So Godspeed to them with that, but it's basically a testament to how you can't just trust some kind of guideline you see on the internet. Granted, I don't think there were too many guidelines out there that said, take 50,000 milligrams of vitamin D. Dainty Daisy Love commented, dude, this is peak. I tried to optimize my health and ended up speedrunning organ failure. Glad you caught it before it got worse. The supplement rabbit hole is wild. Half that stuff might as well be mystery potions. Our next story is, today I messed up by using a weighted blanket. I have some pretty rough diarrhea today. The kind where you feel the need to go full birthday suit on the toilet and rock back and forth in a cold sweat while trying to breathe through the intestinal cramping, where you bargain your soul to get through it. After the third round, I went to lay down on the couch for a bit and decided I wanted my weighted blanket for comfort. It's 40 pounds, the heaviest I could find, and usually my favorite thing on the planet. As I'm laying there, the blanket just melts around me into the crevices of the couch. I'm in heaven. Then the rumbling returns, the gurgle that is soon followed by sharp intestinal cramps. I panic. I try to get off the couch. I can't. I'm entangled in 40 pounds of weighted blankets. TLDR, I made a mess of myself because I got stuck in a weighted blanket. I gotta admit, I've never tried a weighted blanket, but I've always been fascinated by it. I think I would actually really like it. I just have never tried it, and I'm also a bit afraid of how do you wash it? Do you just get one that is sort of like a duvet? It just has washable covers or something? Because if so, I'm in, and I'm ready to be hugged. I'm Buster commented, don't take laxatives and sleeping pills at the same time either. VOP responded, oh dude, my grandpa does that anytime I go to visit just because he thinks it's freaking hilarious to make someone clean up his diarrhea. I stopped visiting. Melon Water replied to that saying, what? Our next story is, today I messed up by taking Viagra daily for nearly a year. For a while now, I've been feeling flushed in the face with a ruddy complexion. My face has felt hot, prickly, and I've had a very stuffy nose, as if I'm allergic to something. Let's flash back to last April. In April last year, I was prescribed fluoxetine, Prozac, due to an ongoing mental health situation, and it seemed to work for me. My mood was elevated, my temper suppressed, everything seemed to be going fine, until I began a new relationship and everything seemed very good. The connection was immaculate, the vibes were good, the petting was heavy. However, I'd begun to notice that things weren't biologically rising in the way that they should. I initially chalked it up to being in my late 30s and that these things might take some time. However, this problem persisted, and in July last year, I spoke with my general practitioner, who provided me with a prescription for sildenafil, Viagra for the layman, 100 milligrams of which I should take. I proceeded to take the little blue circular 100 milligram tablet every morning, alongside my vitamins and normal pills of the day. Things were never better. My hooking up life was enviable. I began to feel energy like I haven't felt since my teens, and my general motivation and drive seemed at an all-time high. Until the third or fourth week, that is. A colleague said to me, "Hey, looks like you've been laid out in the sun too long." "Don't think so," I responded, hurrying off to consult a mirror to see that my visage was bright, blotchy red. I chalked it up to a sunburn or an allergic reaction for nearly a whole year, trying different creams, lotions, and antihistamines to try and quell the redness, all the while experiencing tremendous tumescence, not to brag or anything. I finally booked in with a different GP with hopes of seeing a dermatologist to curb the red-faced woes. "You've been collecting a prescription for sildenafil every month for a year," he says, upon looking at my file. "Yeah?" I question. "You must have a big backstock by now," the doctor says. "Are you flirting with me, doc?" I reply. "Surely you aren't in need of them every day," the doctor responds. And then it all became clear. These aren't a daily medication at all. They're to be used as and when required. For those who don't know, sildenafil, Viagra, causes one's blood vessels to open more readily, causing more plentiful you-know-whats, but also flushing, sinus stuffiness, higher heart rate, and a multitude of other symptoms which could be attributed to other things. Edit, thank you to those who pointed out I misspelled sildenafil. I clearly didn't even read the packet enough to get the word correct. Thank you to those who thought this could be AI-generated bollocks. I assure you it is not. Lastly and finally, thank you to those who called me an idiot. I couldn't agree more, but this is a learning experience, and I know now to always read the label of things I am prescribed. So I'm not a person that's ever been prescribed anything like this, and I will not tolerate the accusations otherwise, but even I've learned just from secondhand knowledge of these kinds of things that you don't take it every day, you take it as when needed. I mean, shoot, on my YouTube videos, how many times has YouTube stuck in like a Blue Chew ad on the pre-roll or something? Like, I guess I'm just surprised that even ignoring the obvious that if you get prescribed a medication, you should probably read the provided instructions that tell you how to use it. I mean, it should say it even on the bottle itself, but also just like the basic knowledge of it managed to escape OP the whole time. Lupine DeWeiss commented, "I don't even know what to say. This is so idiotic that it must be true." Drolafi commented, "I'm not a doctor, but starting you off on 100 milligrams seems, well, frankly, it seems wildly excessive." Our next story is, today I messed up by trying to bring my girlfriend breakfast in bed and destroying my body instead. My girlfriend and I just moved in together, and I had the brilliant idea to wake up early last weekend and make her breakfast in bed. Real wholesome crap. I made pancakes, scrambled eggs, coffee, even warmed the plates like I saw in some Gordon Ramsay video. I was proud. I get everything onto a tray and start walking up the stairs. What I didn't realize is that our cat had left one of her little rubber mouse toys right on the third step. One of those tiny idiot ones that look like a lint until it's under your foot. I step on it, instantly lose my footing, tray launches, food is airborne, I go down like a sack of wet laundry, pancakes fly, coffee explodes on the wall, I hit the bottom of the stairs in a twisted pile of regret and syrup. My girlfriend runs out of the bedroom like she just heard a home invasion. She finds me groaning on the floor, holding my wrist with a pancake stuck to my back like some kind of domestic shuriken. I tell her I think I broke something. We go to the ER, x-rays confirm, fractured wrist. The nurse doesn't even react when I explain what happened, just writes it down and moves on like she's heard this exact story before, which honestly makes it worse. Now my wrist is in a brace, my girlfriend has banned surprises of any kind, and the cat is still loose, presumably planning her next attack. 10 out of 10, would not recommend. To be fair, stairs are a pretty dangerous thing generally, especially if you have it in your home. You know, I imagine it's pretty easy to just kind of take them for granted. You think about all the times you're not feeling well or you're half asleep and you go up and down the stairs. It's not surprising that somebody took a spill on the stairs. I posted random commented, "I'm sorry it happened to you, but falling from the stairs and breaking something is pretty common, unfortunately." Of course the nurse has heard this 1,000 times before. Our next story is, today I messed up by forgetting I was on an Amazon family plan for years. So I just got an email notification stating that I was removed from my Amazon family plan. I completely forgot that years ago, my sister and brother-in-law added me to their account as a teen, so I could mooch free Prime from them. Upon seeing this, I started getting a panic attack because I have made many spicy purchases on there. Things I know they don't want to know about their little sister. I quickly Googled to see if there's any chance that they've been privy to these purchases, and there, plain as day, it reads, "Yes, if you are a teen on an Amazon household account, your parents will be notified about your purchases because they need to approve them." My brethren in Christ, my sister has been approving every single purchase I've made for years. The mundane ones, the questionable ones, the impulse ones, the downright horny ones, everything. And she's never said one word about it this whole time. My last purchase made was 2 days before being notified via this email, and yes, it was a horny purchase. I'm afraid that she finally got fed up with knowing this many intimate details about my life and finally decided to end it, but maybe it was just a coincidence? I'm too afraid to ask. Honestly, I'm not sure that I want to know. Freak my life. Not that there was anything ever in my Amazon purchase history that I would be ashamed about admitting about, but I would also be pretty mortified and uncomfortable about knowing the fact that my siblings saw and had to manually approve every single purchase I've ever made on Amazon. But also, I'm just in general an intensely private person regardless, so yeah, it would be very uncomfortable. Trick Caterpillar 299 commented, "One day you'll all laugh about this. Several years ago when my kids were preteens and teens, I got each of them a Kindle Fire. They could all download free books and games and I never thought about it being on my account. A couple of years ago, I was looking through my Kindle library and realized that all of their books and games were on my account, so I scrolled through just out of curiosity. I saw the books about puppies and kittens, obviously my youngest daughter, books about video games, youngest son, books about how to do makeup and how to know if boys like you, middle child, and world history, science, and religion books, second son. Then I saw books with titles like Hot Cheerleaders, Dirty Jokes, Attractive Boobs. Remember, these were all free books, so nothing too bad. And I knew it was my oldest son, who was 13 or 14 at the time of purchase. I called him immediately, he was 20 and living on his own, and told him about my discovery. He nearly died laughing and said that he'd been searching the categories and seen erotic, so he clicked on it thinking that it would be scary stuff. He said, "Mama, it was so much better than that." Our next story is, today I messed up by accidentally becoming the neighborhood crow whisperer. This is my life now. It all started innocently enough. I saw a lone crow in my yard and tossed it a cracker. Harmless, right? Wrong. That single act of kindness seems to have spread through the crow grapevine, and now I have a full-blown murder of crows as my constant companions. Every morning I step outside and they're there, perched in nearby trees, cawing like they're clocking into their day jobs. They follow me on walks, and yesterday one even dropped a shiny gum wrapper at my feet. I think they're trying to pay me in crow currency, which is both endearing and slightly unnerving. At this point, I've accepted my new role as their unofficial snack provider and accidental overlord. I'm genuinely curious to see where this goes. Maybe I'll end up with a crow army or a collection of shiny gifts. Either way, it's a wild ride, and I'm here for it. I mean, it definitely depends on your aptitude towards birds, but I would find this to be kind of a win in my opinion. What's wrong with being on the in with all the crows around? They're probably going to be around anyways. Where I live, they have what's called a cat feral colony in my general neighborhood. Basically, there's a catch and release program where they'll take in any strays, neuter or spay them, and release them back into the neighborhood to just live. So I'm kind of fond of them and I leave food out for them, and I see crows come by quite often to pick at the food. And I gotta be honest, I don't mind them as long as they don't poop on my car. Disruption Coin commented, "I had the opposite experience. Gave some food and water to an injured and sick crow that was dying in a field by my house. When I approached it, the crows all around it up in the tree started flipping out. Even years later, even after moving away for a year, they recognize me and follow me through the neighborhood, squawking at me aggressively and picking off little branches and dropping them on me. Apparently, crows and other birds tend to investigate a death and attempt to learn from the experience and assign blame. So just by trying to help the little guy, I got blamed for his death because I was at the scene of the crime before he passed." Our next story is, today I messed up by giving myself acid reflux for 25 years. I'm 34 years old and have had excruciating acid reflux since I was about 8 years old. I've been taking prescription strength medication every day for 25 years to control it, and still have had terrible symptoms that sometimes keep me up at night. I've even had an endoscopy under general anesthesia to try to discover the cause. Recently, I noticed that my symptoms tend to start after I take my evening allergy and asthma medication. Incidentally, I've been taking these pills since I was about 8 years old. I've always been able to easily dry swallow pills without water. I can take a whole handful of pills dry with no problem. So that's how I've always taken my medication. So I googled it, and sure enough, dry swallowing pills can lead to pills getting stuck in your esophagus and cause acid reflux. I started taking water with my pills, and sure enough, my acid reflux symptoms disappeared immediately. It's been a few months now, and I haven't had a single episode of reflux when I used to have it several times a week. I think it would be really hard not to dwell on it, but I think the most important thing in OP's case would be to just try to focus on the fact that they figured it out and they're not going to have to deal with it anymore. But I gotta be honest, if it were me, it would be keeping me up at night for a while. I mean, when my diet is really bad, and especially some things like onions can especially trigger it for me, I can have reflux, and it is not fun. A Trainers commented, "Sending this now to my teen that always dry swallow pills because I don't need water to take them, mom, and suffers from reflux. Thank you." OP responded, "I'm glad me figuring out how dumb I was being can save someone else who is being dumb." Our next story is, today I messed up by saying, "You're my mammal" to my fiance. Last night, I was a mess. drunk, upset, had a heated argument with my family, and was dang ticked. I got home and wanted to hook up with my fiance. Like, not the romantic one, but borderline feral, rip me out of my head, kinda. We got into it, he's on top, and I wanted to say something hot and possessive like, "You're my man." But for some ungodly reason, freaking animal was also floating in my head. My idiot brain tried to say both the words, and I ended up moaning, "You're my mammal." He literally stopped mid-act and asked, "I'm your what?" I was sloshed, but realized what I had said and tried to double down. "You're my strong, hot mammal." This man died laughing like he was gone. He literally rolled off of me and laughed for 5 minutes straight. Still, he got back into it, and every time he moved, he would start wheezing again. After the hooking up, I just turned over and knocked out. Right now, since we've woken up, the man hasn't shut up. "So I'm your mammal, huh? You know, as your mammal, I can drive you to work." I have never known shame like this. At this point, I would say it sounds like you guys got a great relationship and OP should just own it. And hey, if your mammal is offering to drive you to work, I say take it. I mean, who knows, maybe you can make like a cutesy in-joke between you two out of it. They call you after your shift at work, you pick it up. "What's up, my mammal?" Warm Conclusion 8891 commented, "If it's any consolation, I misread mammal as mama, and now your experience doesn't seem as bad." Anonymous responded, "Same, I read it as, you're my mama. Mammal is way better, in my opinion." But with that being said, that's all the time we have for today. Now, if you want to hear another absolutely crazy story of how a Redditor severely messed up, check out that video on the left. Or if you missed my latest video, check out that video on the right. That said, I'll see you all next time with some more stories.